Hey guys, and welcome to Jay's Nest. Today I want to talk about some of the mindsets in the cloth diapering community, specifically the one about buy all the diapers. This is a subject I've wanted to talk about for the past few years. I've been wanting to do like a deep dive with a Speedfold Friday, but I just want to sit down because these videos are way easier to edit. I certainly have a past with buying all the diapers, the mindset of buy all the diapers. I've chased rainbows, which means, you know, I've tried to collect all the colors from one brand and all of their prints. Bum genius. Back in 2015, I definitely chased that rainbow, but then I ended up with some issues with their diapers. I decided chasing rainbows, it's not all it's made out to be. I've collected like limited edition prints from different brands. I've had hundreds of diapers at one point. I think it was 2016. I easily had over 250 diapers. I actually saw someone on the swap pages maybe a month ago or so. She said she had over 600 diapers. So it's a thing in the community where people, they have hundreds and hundreds of diapers just for one child, sometimes 2, maybe 3 children. It's not uncommon. And now we're not here to shame people. This is not what this conversation is about. I get it, you know, I get both sides of it, but this is not a place where we're gonna shame people for their stashes. But I want to speak from my experience and why my stash ever got that big in the first place. I did make a video a few years ago called like Confessions of a Cloth Diaper Addict. I rewatched that video recently, and it's weird to see that version of myself because that era of my life was really tough, with depression and even not wanting to live anymore. You know, during that time, I just didn't want to live. I don't judge that version of myself when I look back at that video, but I do see someone who's holding on to a lot of pain. And it's beautiful to see the growth that I've had just in the past few years. I'll link that video down below if you guys are interested in watching it. But that is definitely a different version of myself for sure. For sure. And in that video, I really just talked about trading one obsession for another obsession. Collecting all the diapers for extreme couponing. And I was into extreme couponing for a while, but that in itself is like a full-time job. So let's talk about my story, because I feel like this talk is best relayed through that exploration of my own journey and kind of my thought processes and things that I've struggled with through mental health over the years. I feel like especially in the early days of motherhood, mental health is so shaky, and I think a lot of that has to do with, you know, caring for the emotional health of a being that is helpless, of a baby who really has no regulation over their body when they're hungry, when they gotta poop and pee, and trying to soothe them. And if you're not in an okay place mentally, trying to care for the mental health of children is going to be really hard for you. And the more children I've had, the more I've realized I really have to dive within myself to find deep layers of peace, to really find peace for myself. Because if not, that's going to lead to some really dark places for me. Because the thing is, like, if you are really aggravated and agitated with your children all the time, and you have multiple children or one child, whatever it may be, you're just going to keep snowballing into this place of stress, and you're just exploding all the fucking time. You're just constantly exploding because there is no management for your emotions. There's no management for your mental health and what you feel emotionally. And so this can become really treacherous waters for parents navigating early parenthood. And there's just a lot of loneliness that can come with early parenthood as well. And, you know, maybe it's a fucking Taurus thing, I don't know. But I like to buy things, you know. I've been in this pattern in the past that when I would get upset, when I would start to feel depression kick in, I would buy things. And I think some of that has to do with inherited traits that I got from my mom. My mom is a Lowkey Hoarder. I'm not even joking, like I want to laugh about it, but like, Mom? Mom, you a Lowkey Hoarder, let's be real. I'm sorry, I have some tendencies from my mom that I have observed and I have taken on myself that I'm working through, of just buying when I feel empty on the inside. And I think that is something in itself. That's a pattern I notice in itself. Like when I feel empty on the inside, I just want to fill it. For many years it's been food. You know, I'm down about 40 pounds by working on my relationship with food, because, you know, sometimes there's just like this deep emptiness inside of you, and whether you're filling it with drugs, alcohol, food, sex, video games, escaping through being on social media all day long, a lot of us have voids. How are you filling your voids? And so sometimes that can come in the form of diapers, right? Because diapers give us a sense of community. You cannot buy disposable diapers and get the same sense of community as you do with cloth diapers. There's just something so extra special about this community that you're just not gonna find anywhere else. Yes, I know there are negative sides to this community. There are people who aren't nice. There are people who are leaders that are power hungry and that aren't accepting of all experiences, and that is fine. That's their life. You don't have to be part of that community within our community. There are many little subsets of communities that have the potential to grow. Wherever we put our attention, wherever we put our energy, that is what's gonna grow. There are so many experiences to be had, and it's our choice as people to figure out where we want to put our energy into these things. I'm not kidding. What you watch, what you listen to, all of this stuff directly affects your mind. So being mindful of the things that you take in is really important as well. But a lot of us, we have voids that we want to fill. And so for many years, I did fill it with cloth diapers because the sense of community made me feel good. And so having a limited edition print made me feel really good, made me feel part of the community. And I guess sometimes there's like this cool kid factor. I have certainly seen cloth diaper snobbery, and I feel like that's a talk in itself, where people, they only have, you know, $30 smart bottom diapers. That's their whole stash, and they frown upon anybody who has a China cheapy diaper. I have definitely seen that in the community as well, and I don't really have a solution for that because people are going to think what they want to think depending on their state of consciousness and where they're at emotionally and mentally. We're all dealing with our own stuff, and people project things. You know what I mean? People project their reality onto people. And so I wouldn't take it seriously, you know, if you are buying diapers that are on the cheaper side or made in China. If that's what you can afford, there's nothing wrong with that. And we'll have a talk about that in itself. I definitely want to make some videos encouraging you guys along your own journey. But there have been times where I have definitely filled the void within me with diapers. And sure, it temporarily gives you a good feeling, but it doesn't truly fill the void within you. And then that's really when you have to start facing yourself and what you're holding on to, and who are you? What are you holding on to? What do you really feel? What are you trying to hide and stuff away? What I've realized in this self-discovery journey, the self-awareness journey, is that you hide a bunch of shit from yourself. Whether you want to admit it or not, the deeper I go, the more I realize I've hid a bunch of shit from myself. And I'm uncovering that. And a lot of that is uncovering it without guilt or shame. That is so... The guilt and shame are two things I have been working through really intensely this year, because pretty much my life was rooted in guilt and shame from my parents. Not that they wanted me to feel like that for the rest of my life, but they hold a lot of guilt and shame about their life stories, which laid the foundation for me to thrive off of guilt and shame and to grow life from it. But now that I'm diving into myself, I'm realizing that's not the foundation I want to lay my life on. I don't want to lay it on guilt and shame anymore. And I think this talk in itself, if you are someone who has a 600 diaper, cloth diaper stash, that might come with shame and guilt. You know, I know for a fact people are going to shame and guilt you. And we just have we have to look at, why do you have that? What do you really feel? And so in some ways, I believe that in this community, there is a toxicity around buy all the diapers, because if you're someone who has an obsessive personality, which I absolutely have had an obsessive personality. In fact, that's why I even got so deep into cloth diaper content creation. You know, like I said, in 2018, I was spending as much time as I could to escape my reality. I would watch all the cloth diaper videos on YouTube and just consume, take it all in. Be on all these swap pages, be on all these Facebook chat pages, and just really just immerse myself in the community to escape this reality. Trading the real reality for an online virtual reality. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of upsides to an online community. I don't really have local community. I know one person locally who cloth diapers, and she was a childhood friend. She's been on my channel. Her channel is called, what's it called? The Rogers Tribe. I'll link her channel down below. Her name is Shannon. She is genuinely really, really sweet. But she's a local mama to me, but I grew up with her. She's the only cloth diaper mom I've ever hung out with. And so for that reason, online community has been really important. That's why I even have this channel or have this reach. Yeah, I'm reaching people all over the world. It is amazing. It is amazing that I can do that, reach people all over the world through an online platform. However, there is a balance between going online and communing with people and having a relationship versus trying to run fast out of your current reality to escape. You know what I mean? And again, we all have our own things. You know, maybe it's sex. Maybe you're just like really into sex. Maybe you're really into food. Or maybe you have a relationship with drugs or alcohol. Or maybe it's just like zoning out and just watching too much TV or spending too much time on the internet. A lot of us, we have ways that we do escape. There's probably an area in there somewhere where you're trying to escape reality in some sort if you're not really facing your emotions and working through them. A lot of what I've been doing this year is just understanding who I am. Understanding myself without the guilt or the shame. Understanding that I do have a dark side. I have a light side. And there's everything in between too. And just learning how to accept all of those sides of myself in order to grow and move forward. The thing is, you can't grow if you don't accept who you are now, who you've been in the past, what you've been through. It's the acceptance of all of you. And so to understand that, to have humanity for yourself, to see your brokenness and to hold yourself in those spaces, to really gather yourself, to understand ourselves in deeper ways and to understand why we do the things that we do. Now, this journey isn't for everybody. What I'm talking about isn't for everybody. Some people are going to stay here. They're going to stay the same. They're not going to grow. It's not everybody's path in this lifetime to wake up or to grow. But this is our own path. This is about self-awareness, self-discovery, self-exploration, self, not other people and worrying how deep other people are going or what they're doing with their development, but to truly take the focus and focus in on yourself and understand why we do the things that we do. Why do we buy all the diapers? It can be lighthearted and fun. Don't get me wrong. It can be lighthearted and fun. It can be a lot of fun to collect all the different prints or to collect the cute prints because sometimes they hold sentimental value. I know I've talked about this before, but I don't remember what video it is. But I'll leave some of my deep dive videos down below kind of on this subject. And maybe it's in one of those videos. Honestly, I don't remember the details of every video I make. Most of the time, I don't even remember what I say in my videos. After they're up and they're gone and they're in the ethers and they're going and doing their thing and flowing. But yeah, you know, sometimes collecting all the diapers is really fun and it's very lighthearted. But I think this conversation about mental health is important to have around this subject, just to open up our minds and to open up our hearts a little bit to understand ourselves deeper and why we do the things that we do. In a lot of ways, this cloth diaper journey it intertwines with my own personal development, which, you know, I've been vulnerable enough to share over the years, and I'm thankful that I have. Because it's really beautiful to look back and see the evolution of my mindset and how I view the world and my perspectives and how they've changed. But I think, you know, if you are someone who is struggling with the mental health and you are buying all the diapers and you don't know where to start, you don't know how to stop, you don't know where to go, I'm not sure I have a perfect answer for you. Because this journey for everybody is different. This journey of self-exploration, self-discovery. I think one of the most impactful things that I've learned over time is to learn how to ground myself. To learn how to breathe. You'd be surprised that, like, we gotta learn how to breathe correctly. It sounds stupid as shit. I know, it sounds stupid, but breathing directly correlates to the heart and how fast our heart, when we're stressed, we're taking shallow breaths with our chest, our heart's beating really fast, and that can release more cortisol, which is the stress hormone, which makes us more stressed. The release of cortisol actually prevents more serotonin to be made. Serotonin's that happy feel-good hormone, you know, serotonin helps with digestion, it helps with mood regulation, It also helps with depression and anxiety to prevent those things. But when you're really stressed, it blocks the serotonin from being able to be produced. And serotonin is the connection between your brain and the nervous system. So that's the anxiety, that's the emotion. The nervous system along your spine, that's really like the connection to the emotional world. And so some easy ways to really take down your levels of stress is to breathe. To really take a second and breathe. This is not something that we're taught, but I'm gonna teach you now. It's not something that we're taught, but we should be taught. The importance of breath and how breath directly correlates to our health, our mental and emotional well-being. And I think that is a really good place to start. It can be tedious. When I first started breath work, it was actually painful for me to take deep breaths. It was painful for me in my chest, painful for me in my shoulders, and painful in my stomach. And if that is your case as well, because you've been shallow breathing for so many years, just be gentle with yourself. Gentleness is an extension of love. Show yourself some gentleness. That is one expression of love, is to be gentle. So be gentle with yourself as you're relearning how to deep breathe, how to breathe. Just take control of your body and breathe. And you're gonna feel the pains in your body because, whoa, baby, you alive now. You alive when you start breathing. When you really start breathing, you really start to feel your body. Really feel it. And you start feeling the pains in your body. Woo. But you'll start to feel alive. You start to bring yourself back. Without breath, we are dead. So that is to say, breathing is part of the essence of who we are. So breathe. Breathe. If you don't know where to start, breathe. Take some deep breaths. That's a good place to start. It won't fix your problems, but it'll help you navigate. One analogy that I like to use is like, you're at the ocean, right? And you're sitting on the shore. It's beautiful. The sun is about to set. The sky is going pink, and the waves are crashing. They're gentle. They're not too big. You see some waves coming, but they aren't huge. So you're sitting on shore, and you're feeling the waves hit you. It feels nice. They're not hitting any further than up here. But all of a sudden, you start seeing the waves getting a little bigger. And they don't look incredibly big because they're not huge and crashing, but they're getting bigger. And you think, oh, well, that's not going to be anything. But by the time they hit the shore, they crash down onto you. And so you're sitting on the shore like this, and this big whole wave crashes on you. You're choking for air. You're drowning in the emotions. In the shallow water, you're drowning. When you could just stand up. Right? You could just stand, you could go swim in the ocean, you could stand up, walk to the ocean and go swim. But instead you're just sitting there. And wave after wave just takes you, and sometimes you you float backwards because it literally lifts you off the ground and shoots you backwards. And so you were enjoying the nice breeze, the mist of the ocean, and this beautiful pink sunset that is just getting painted darker and darker in front of your eyes, but you are being swept into the shallowness of the edge of the wave. Or you can stand up. You can stand up and grab a surfboard and learn how to ride those waves. And learn how to ride the waves of emotions. See, that is what breath is. Breath isn't fixing your problem, but it is you standing up and grabbing that surfboard and having the courage to try to ride these waves, to learn how to navigate these waves. These waves that are coming and crashing, that were just drowning you a minute ago, but you realized, oh yeah, I have legs, I can stand up. I have a surfboard, I can ride these waves. Do I know how to ride a wave? I don't know, maybe I'll fall a little bit. But these deep emotional waters can be navigated if I have the courage and willingness and patience to learn. And in that way, that's how powerful breath can be. It can really be that first step in learning how to navigate the deep emotional waters. It doesn't take away the pain. There are other things you have to do that are action-based to really work through the traumas you've been through. But to be able to take a step, to stand up for yourself, and to look at that ocean, those deep waters, those deep emotions, and be like, you know what? Let's ride it out. I might fall off this surfboard a few fucking times, whatever. But like, let's ride these waves. Buy all the diapers doesn't have to be a toxic thing. But in some cases, in my case, it certainly stemmed from a place of wanting to fill a void on the inside. And facing that void comes with feeling what's in the void in order to let it go. Because those voids, they don't have to stay there forever. And I don't say that with empty words. I say that from knowing, from experience, from firsthand. That this year in 2020 is fucking crazy, man. Fucking crazy. But it's also beautiful and transformative. And if you have the courage to really dive into yourself, you're gonna find some beautiful things. You're gonna find some scary things which will take some courage. At the end of the day, you're going to be letting go of everything that is not you when you dive into that self-awareness and self-discovery, and you're gonna find who you really are. Outside of the hate or the jealousy or the unworthiness or the fear of abandonment, the shame, the guilt, underneath all of those layers is something really beautiful. Alright guys, I love you. This was a random talk. I don't know if it made sense. But if you got something out of it, that's cool too. Thank you guys for watching. I love you. I'll see you next time.
Even though it hurts, I won't show it to you. 'Cause it will ricochet. I won't let it bite.